What does loneliness look like to you? Is it when someone doesn't have a partner, a lot of friends? What if I told you that none of those things matter? That it's not about how many relationships that you have. Your loneliness is as brutal as the relationship that you have with it. If you fight it, pretend it doesn't exist, and push it way down deep, it will rear its head in the ugliest ways. No matter how many relationships you have, it will keep showing up. The loneliest people are the hardest to spot because on the surface, they look like they have it all together. I spent the last 10 years studying the underlying patterns of people that's hidden behind the person they present. As a coach, I used to be an expert at hiding how I feel and now help people all over the world connect deeply with themselves and others. Today, I'm going to share with you the story of one of the loneliest people I've ever met, break down exactly what they said so that you can start to identify these patterns and not fall into the trap of remaining perpetually disconnected from the version of yourself that's still waiting to be seen. Now, I'm going to be upfront with you. This video is going to challenge your worldview of how you think about people. So it's going to take a little bit of work. But if you manage to stick till the very end, you are going to be better at reading and connecting with others than most people around you. Let me introduce you to Eleanor. I met her a number of years ago at a live blues event. She was a friend of a friend and she sat down at the table with us. Now, Eleanor, she carried herself with so much elegance. There was this assuredness embedded in the way that she spoke. She's one of those people where it just felt like she figured everything out. It doesn't matter what it is, she's figured it out. She was around 40, working in tech, doing well for herself, and she was telling us how she's traveling around the world, having fun with the men that she'd meet on her travels. And I briefly shared about my own relationship life, talking about how over the years I've met some wonderful people who I love, and even when the relationship didn't work out, I still hold them close. And then out of nowhere, she asked this question. How do you get all these people to fall in love with you? I laughed awkwardly, thinking it was a rhetorical question, but then the pause that followed after made me realize that she was expecting an answer. So I fumbled around and I said, I don't know, I haven't thought about it. Conversation moved on to other things after that, but I left the night feeling heavy because that question had just revealed how lonely she was. Now, most people would brush off what she said. Look at how confident she is. There's not even a lick of sadness, much less loneliness. She just made an offhanded remark to keep the conversation flowing. Don't need to read into it. But you are not most people, and I'm sure you know that. And I know you might say, but Asha, honestly, that sentence didn't really trigger anything in me. And I'd countered that by saying that that's because the way we've been conditioned to think about people is fundamentally broken. We're encouraged to take things at face value and compartmentalize every fact we know about a person, never really questioning why someone says or does the things that they do, never connecting it to other parts of their life. And when you try to do that, you'll be told that you're reading too much into it or you're being judgy, so you turn off your radar. And turning on your radar doesn't mean you go around doubting what everybody says. I didn't doubt Eleanor's confidence. I didn't doubt that she was having fun. But as soon as she said something peculiar, my radar started beeping. It was almost like I stumbled onto a jigsaw puzzle piece of who she was, and now I get the chance to figure out what the surrounding pieces are. So let's deconstruct that. A friend once told me that when looking to rent out his apartment, an immediate disqualifier is if an applicant says, "Don't worry, I won't be late on rent." When I asked why, he said, well, in my world, paying your rent on time is a given when you sign the contract. It's like walking into an interview saying, "Don't worry, I won't be late to work." The fact that you're bringing it up unprompted is an indicator that you've likely had timeliness as an issue before. In this story, the sentence, "Don't worry, I won't be late on rent," was the puzzle piece. Imagine if we took that literally. We'd be like, wow, that's really nice. And then when they start being late on payments, we'd be wondering, I wish there was a sign. I mean, they said they won't be late. Most people don't think that a single sentence can reveal much about a person. But that's because they're missing the bulk of what's in front of them. Think of it this way: content, structure, context, and what's left unsaid. Sorry, I can't think of a shorter name. Using this 4-step framework, what can we uncover from how do you get all these people to fall in love with you? For starters, the content. She's saying that people aren't falling in love with her and she would like to experience that. Pretty straightforward. The structure is where it gets interesting. It wasn't how do you find love like that or how do you create relationships like that. It was how do you get all these people to fall in love with you? Really tap into your radar. I'm sure your intuition can sense that something is off about that sentence. You'll realize the focus isn't on trying to cultivate a loving relationship, it's about a means to an end, to get something for herself, to get people to do something for her and fall in love with her. On top of that, she could have phrased it as, how do you get someone to fall in love with you? Instead, it's all these people, which tells us that she's focused on the quantity. Now, moving on to context. She shared this after telling how amazing her life was going and how much fun that she's having. So the question was phrased with a lot of curiosity about how to get men to fall in love with her. Now, if it was said in the context of someone who's sharing about their relationship struggles, you could argue that they phrase it that way because they want to understand what makes someone fall in love with someone else, that they're feeling hopeless. Lastly is what's left unsaid. Now, this part's going to break your brain a little bit, but it's an absolute game changer when it comes to reading people. So she said, how do you get all these people to fall in love with you? Now, imagine she added, because I'm having trouble in that department, even though that's quite literally what her question is revealing. If she had added that part, she was explicit about her struggle, that would change everything. She's letting you know that things aren't perfect. She's not trying to come out like she's got everything figured out. She's signaling that she's open to learn, even if the question might be a little bit misguided. So content, structure, context, and what's left unsaid has revealed to you that she subconsciously sees love as transactional, as something that she can earn. And most people unknowingly fall into the same trap. But how could someone even begin to think about love this way? That's where loneliness comes in. Confronting your loneliness requires vulnerability. It's admitting that you have an ache, that this feeling sucks, that things aren't perfect. But to deny it, your brain untethers you from those very human parts of you. Your perception of love and connection becomes distorted because, well, those are very human things. And for Eleanor, it disintegrated her understanding of love by making it transactional. I mean, even if you go online and type in that question, you don't get answers that encourage you to look within. It incentivizes her to make people fawn over her. Skills like how to charm, how to lead someone on, how to come off interested in their hobbies and get someone to chase you harder, which Eleanor will mistake for the kind of love that she's looking for, which is heartbreaking because by doing all of this, she's encouraged to come off very put together and detached from her own vulnerability. And when she gets into these relationships, her partners will also feel the need to come off put together and not really feel comfortable accessing their human sides. And even when they do, they feel like she just doesn't relate to them. So the relationship, it will be fine, but that's all it would be. Fine. Nobody's falling head over heels in love with her, and she can't figure out why. And to top it all off, the fact that everyone sees her as this confident, successful person who's seemingly content means that she might go her entire life without anyone trying to look deeper to try to find her. Because, well, she said she's happy. Don't need to read into it. Once I spotted Eleanor, I started spotting her everywhere, in all sorts of professions, all sorts of ages, all around the world, revealing jigsaw puzzle pieces that make me go, I've seen that one before. And once you turn on your radar, you'll start to see her everywhere too. And of course, it's not just women, it's also men. And if you follow them through the years like I did, you'll find that their lives play out in one of two ways. They either settle in unfulfilling relationships where they're never seen or adored, and they convince themselves that they're fine and expecting anything more is unrealistic. Or they remain single, but detached from their feelings, growing more and more unrelatable over time, so that even when they stumble onto the right people, they drive them away. So the loneliest people I've ever met are the ones that have convinced everyone that they're not lonely by disconnecting themselves from themselves. Because what can be lonelier than being a stranger to yourself? What Eleanor's story reveals isn't just about her, it's about all of us, about how easy it is to fall into the trap of measuring ourselves by the standards that were never really ours to begin with, about how we chase for connection while hiding the parts of us that need it the most. So if you're an expert at hiding your anxieties and pain, I work with people just like you to gently turn that radar inwards and towards the people around you so that you can find deep self-trust and build relationships where you can truly be yourself in. A link is in the description for a one-on-one call to explore if working together might just be the turning point that you are looking for. And if something in Eleanor's story spoke to you, I share unfiltered stories in my newsletter, the kind that never make it to social media, raw moments of myself and my clients on our buried anxieties, breakthroughs, and what it takes to create relationships where you can truly feel at home in. The link is in the description to sign up to the newsletter, or you can directly go to asherjacob.com/newsletter. I'll see you guys in the next video.